The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Read by Stephen Ravenfeller. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Oh, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Leonore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Leonore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating, then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Leonore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Leonore. Merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely there is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what the rat is, and the mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least of sense made he, not a minute start or stayed he, but the mind of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched above a bust, a palace just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then his ebony bird beguiling my sad face into smiling, by grave and stern decorum of the continents it wore. "Through thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure not craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevance it bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with the name as Nevermore. But the raven sitting lonely on the placid bud spoke only the one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling straight, I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking, what is ominous bird of yore? What this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the bow whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then the mad thought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by cherubim, whose footfalls tinkled on the tuffled floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he has sent thee, respite, respite, not then from thy memories of Leonore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind Nabat, forget the lost Leonore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempest sent, whether tempest tots thee here ashore, desolate, yet all undaunted, on his desert land enchanted, on his home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that haven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if with distant maiden I shall clasp this sainted maiden from the angels named Leonore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Leonore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, starting, get thee back into the tempest of the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as token of that lie thy soul hath taken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form off of my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven never flitting, still sitting on that pallid bus of palace just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadows on the floor, and my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.